All right, so what are the biggest challenges as a leader? And as I've reflected on this question, what I would say is working myself out of a job and letting others fail. Over time, especially as you're trying to build a business or build an organization, as you're growing that entity, I really believe that if you're the senior leader or even if you're on a leadership team or whatever, if you've got people that are below you, it's like your job is really to work yourself out of a job. So as the organization is growing, you can't afford to have people in every single slot. So a lot of times you're carrying multiple roles, wearing multiple hats, and so forth. And so at some point, you've got to for the sake of the organization and to make sure that you're not the lid to the organization, you've got to say, okay, it's time for me to hand over this set of function or responsibility or duties or whatever to someone else. And so the challenge for me then is that it's like, okay, I got to hand this over to someone else when I know for sure that I already know how to do it, I know how to do it right, I know how to get it done. And then I've not only do I have to hand it over, I've got to be a really good leader. You need to hand it over and give them the authority and responsibility to carry out those tasks and not micromanage them. Which is that's the desire we tend to want to have is you hand it over to them and then you want to okay, so you check in with them all the time. How are you doing? And you want to kind of nitpick at stuff or try and make it better or whatever. But when you do that, you can't scale the organization the way you need to if you do that. And so you've got to be able to hand it over and then let it go. And so part of letting it go then is that then now you've got someone else taking that on. And now they've got to be tested as a leader. They've got to be tested in those responsibilities. And guess what? They're going to fail from time to time. Not always. They're going to they'll work their way through it, and they'll do a good job in a lot of areas. But at the same time, they're going to have some times when they fail, and they need to fail in order to learn and gain the same experience that I know I did. I mean, all the way through my career, I have failed at something, learned from it, and then I've had to go on from there and do better the next time. And so I've got to allow people to do that. But as a leader, it's hard to sit back and know full well you can see it coming and let it happen so that they can gain the experience. Now there are times when there's just too much on the line. The deal's too big, the situation's too big or whatever, and so it's important then where you step in and you handhold or you walk through together or those kind of things, and that's important. You have to know when to do that, but you can't do that all the time, and you need to then find the opportunities where it's like, okay, I can see this happening, and I got to let it roll out. I got to let this thing play out on its own and see how they do. But as a leader, it's hard to sit back and watch. And watching that happen, and so that's a big challenge. It continues to be a challenge for me, but it's something that I've worked on for a long time to pull back from and to help our business scale and grow.